Greetings, friends, and welcome back to another episode of Dreamscapes. Today we have our guest dreamer, Jennifer. Some may know her as Ms. Sparkles in certain quarters of the internet. She's one of my Pacific Northwest neighbors out of Washington State. We're going to get right back to her in 2 seconds. For my part, would you kindly like, share, subscribe, tell your friends? Always need more volunteer dreamers, viewers for the video game streams. I have 17 currently available works of historical dream literature. The most recent, The Fabric of Dreams by Catherine Taylor Craig. Of course, all this and more at BenjaminTheDreamWizard.com, including downloadable MP3 versions, audio only, of these very dream interpretation interviews. Also, if you head on over to BenjaminTheDreamWizard.locals.com, I'm building a community there. It's free to join, attached to my Rumble account. You can just be a member, or you can do some sustaining donations. They give me the best percentage. Love locals. So that is enough about me. Ms. Sparkles. Jennifer, hello. Hi. Good to talk to you in person, or virtually, so to speak. We've mostly talked by text on X or in the comments of my video game streams. I'm glad you show up. It's nice to know some people actually do watch once in a while.
Yeah, I like your streams. I like your little you start, like, especially when you get irritated with the games, you start out really nicely with you're getting mad, and then you're like start cussing.
Yeah,
very politely and cuss.
you know, there has to be an escalation. You can't go 0 to 60. It's got to be like, now, oh man, that sucks. Okay, that was probably my fault. Fuck, that's really hard. I can't get the buttons right. Jesus Christ, mother, lover. And then I scared the cats. Sorry, guys. Sorry. I was just doing a demonstration. Oh, the poor babies. I didn't think I got crazy. Well, that happens during the video games too. I scared the cats.
Or you'd be like, please, fucker, just please.
Mother,
please.
lover. I mean, that's, yeah. And then I go to the full on cursing. No, it's true. You get 110% of the real me at all times. I don't hold anything back. Oh, I think I scared the dog too. He's like, what is happening? I'm a terrible pet daddy. Oh, I scared him for no reason. But anyway, that's, yeah. I was going somewhere else with all that. Like, just people show up. Yeah, the more the merrier in the streams. Like now you and Yona talk to each other, and every now and again someone else shows up. And
she said she added me, but I didn't find her. I don't know where she.
I think it was.
I can't find her. Her name is really unique. Only 2 people popped up with her name, so I don't know. Yeah.
We can work on. Well, she's in the Discord here too, so we can try to try to get you guys connected. Oh, peanut butter, no, I'm sorry. You gotta go. It's okay, boo boo. It's okay. Now he was sleeping. And I woke him up. Well, I am also impulsive, which I think works for the dream interpretation thing. I just kind of very unfiltered in that regard, which is why I also say crazy shit gets me in trouble too. Of course, like, and then people ask what you should apologize for. Like, number one, never apologizing. So screw you. But
I'm the same way.
Yeah, I mean, if I've personally...
Unless I really did something wrong.
Well, that's what I'm talking about.
One time I did, yeah.
If I have a personal relationship...
I called up this artist, and I actually got viral with the artist, and it turned out, no, I was wrong. She wasn't trying to blacken up. Nobody talks about him anymore. He was a commentary. Never mind. He was a Brazilian guy.
Gotcha.
I hated him.
I think there's a big difference... There's a big difference between you have a personal relationship with someone, you've crossed a boundary, you've done something you could genuinely be considered as hurtful towards them, and it's damaged the relationship. And if you want to maintain that relationship, it's right to acknowledge what you've done wrong and apologize. That's one thing. There's a different layer of what goes on the internet. Is usually the person complaining is complaining on behalf of someone else whom they are not, for purely political reasons, and they don't even want an apology to repair a relationship. They want an apology to establish dominance and power over you, and then they're going to use that apology to beat you even more into submission. So at a certain point, it's like, no, I don't apologize.
I didn't apologize because I made her look racist. I made her look really racist. Like, a lot of people were like saying she was racist. She wasn't.
Wow.
Being racist. So. That's
people need to give up on that too. I've given up on the. I believe the racist stick is broken. I don't care anymore. You can call me anything you want. You can call me racist, sexist, misogynist, homophobic, transphobic, all the ists and isms, and I don't care anymore. I don't care. I'm not interested. If I have a personal relationship with you, we'll talk privately. But on the internet, none of that works. You should feel ashamed and bad. I don't. and you can't make me. So deal with it. I'm done. I'm done with that. I spent so
Well,
long
admit
trying
when
to
I'm
build
wrong.
bridges.
That's-
Well, yeah. I mean, if I've said something, you know what I'm more embarrassed by than anything else online and on the internet is typos. I'm a damn
Me
book.
too.
I'm a damn book editor. That's what I do. You know, that's my primary thing is I do the dream thing. I edit the books. Typos, horribly embarrassing. Mea culpa. I spelled that incorrectly. I'm in the middle of tweets sometimes and I'm like, I need to go to Google or whatever and look up this word. Am I spelling? Are there 2 L's or 1? Oh, there's 1 L. Why did I think there were 2 L's? And then autocorrect sometimes is wrong, even on Twitter or different
All the time.
places.
Mine's all the time wrong.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, and then punctuation and grammar. I get a lot of hate. Well, I get a lot of people mentioning it. I can't, doing your
Yeah.
and where, yeah, and there. I'm working on it.
Yeah, your and
Sure.
your, there and there,
Yeah.
homonyms, words that sound alike but they're spelled differently, and then you get some
Yeah,
people who are
yeah.
like no punctuation, no spelling, and you know exactly what they said. They spell you are, and maybe it is you are, 2 separate words, and maybe it is your as in this is yours. Anyway.
Yeah.
I don't know. For me,
I
I take pride in it a bit, but there's other people who are like, oh, what did I hear? You get that full range of opinion of like, you've got, it is the essence of masculinity to be precise, to speak clearly, to say precisely what you mean and only what you mean and say it in the most clear manner, which includes grammar and punctuation. Then you have the opposite side that says, no, there's nothing more feminine than giving a fuck about punctuation and all that. Fucking motherfucker, get over it. You know, I'm like, okay.
Why does that have to be gendered? Yeah,
Well,
sorry.
that's very interesting too. You have people who are very much like this is the least masculine thing or the most masculine thing, depending on who you ask. And I'm like, I don't know that it has anything to do with masculinity. And all. I consider it just, it's a point of pride for me. It's like I know how to do this, and I think it makes a difference. I think it matters in terms of expressing myself.
Yeah, I don't want to look
clearly.
stupid. That's why it matters to me.
That too.
I've always thought not looking stupid. Since I was young, so I don't want to write it wrong and then it looks stupid. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. If I got some kind of facts wrong, punctuation or spelling errors, typos, and getting some kind of facts wrong, that's embarrassing to me. But otherwise, I'm like, opinions? No, not so much. But anyway, we're not here to talk about me as much. We can and we will, I'm sure. I'll always, excuse me. I always interject with my own personal stories to tell, to establish rapport, but also to draw parallels. Like, okay, this is like this situation with me. I think I see it this way. And then we can agree or disagree. But anyway, the purpose of bringing you here today was for me to shut up and listen and have you tell me your dream. And then we're going to see if we can figure it out together. So I'm ready when you are.
Benjamin the Dream Wizard wants to help you pierce the veil of night and shine the light of understanding upon the mystery of dreams. Every episode of his Dreamscapes program features real dreamers gifted with rare insight into their nocturnal visions. New Dreamscapes episodes appear every week on YouTube, Rumble, Odyssey, and other video hosting platforms, as well as free audiobooks exploring the psychological principles which inform our dream experience, and much, much more. To join the wizard as a guest, reach out across more than a dozen social media platforms and through the contact page at BenjaminTheDreamWizard.com, where you will also find the wizard's growing catalog of historical dream literature available on Amazon, documenting the wisdom and wonder of exploration into the world of dreams over the past 2,000 years. That's Benjamin the Dream Wizard on YouTube and at BenjaminTheDreamWizard.com.
Well, which one do you want me to tell you? I could tell you one that bothers me the most, or the one that I just had. I haven't been dreamt some for a little bit. The last time.
This is a great question, and we didn't actually talk about this beforehand. Like, number one, if you're listening to this video right now, don't tell me your dream when you contact me to do a dream interview. I don't need to know. I don't want to know. Like, it's both of those things. I don't need you to tell me the dream in order to convince me to talk to you. I'll talk to anybody. So don't worry about that. It isn't about picking the right dream. And also, I don't want to know because I need to hear it for the first time when we're sitting down to talk about it. If you tell me way in advance, then I overthink it. Then I start having building my own assumptions that I don't have the ability to check in real time, and that throws me way off. I think probably get the worst results trying to do it that way. Some people have said, well, I don't want to come on the show, but here, can you just read it and give me feedback? And I'm like, no, it doesn't, not really. It doesn't really work that way with me. I've tried. I've done the best I can. I say, well, I see maybe some themes here you could look at yourself, but it isn't the same as actually sitting down and talking about it. There's something magic that happens with the actual collaboration in the moment. So just said I wasn't going to talk about me as much. Your question. Okay. So your question was, what's the best dream? Now, the best dream is anything you want, honestly, but to give you a little more direction or context for that, if you had a dream, say last night or recently, and it's so fresh and it's curious, you just want to know. You just have a very frivolous curiosity about it. That dream is perfect. That dream is fine. If you even have an older dream or whatever that you remember intensely, and that has always, not understanding it has always bothered you, then that's the dream we should pick, if that's how you feel. So it can be literally can be anything, but my opinion, the way I look at this is that dreams self-select for importance. If you come away from the dream really being disturbed or feeling like you need to understand what it was about, then that's definitely a dream that you should understand, because it's trying to tell you something. So roll the dice. Either one is okay with me. Flip a coin, whatever you want to do.
I'll just do the latest one.
Okay.
Where I was in a house, and I just remember the wallpaper being blue, and there were stairs, and I was with my friend. I knew her since 5th grade to after high school. Maybe like 10 years, maybe 7 years ago, we stopped talking, I think, or 5 years ago. But she was there, and for some reason, I keep having little dreams with a little black girl is always involved. And there's a little black girl there, and the thing was outside with the dogs, and I don't own dogs, but my friend, she could never have kids. And she always treats her chihuahua like her baby and stuff. Well, her dog was outside, and you could hear it being turned by the thing. You know what the thing is, right?
From the horror movie?
Yeah. And she would not stop saying that she needed to get her dog. And she just kept saying, I need to get my dog. And I said, no, you're going to get us all killed. And then she just wouldn't get over it. So I opened the garage, because I could see the garage door. I opened the garage door, and I said, fine, get your dog. And I shoved her outside. I took the little girl up to the attic. And I don't know why. I don't know. I feel bad. I don't know why I did that. And that was it.
Okay, I'm trying to catch up with my notes here. Okay, that is fantastic. That is a medium short dream. I mean, there's the shortest dream I've ever talked about with someone was literally the sensation of falling through a void. That's it. That was the entire dream, and we got a 45-minute episode out of that. So when I say short dreams, I mean that's the shortest. I don't think there could be a shorter dream. I think that's probably the essence of the smallest dream possible. Just a sensation, a specific kind of sensation, but nonetheless, there was no visuals. There was nothing auditory. There was nothing else other than just that feeling, basically. And I've gone as long as 4.5 hours, which were so yours is a medium short dream. So think of a dream twice that long. And there's 3 of them, and we did all 3 in one sitting, and that's where we got to 4.5 hours. That was kind of amazing. So yeah, I've
the other one I was going to tell you was where my kid's dad I was breastfeeding him, and he looked up. He was a baby, but he had his head And he was like, "Mama." Yeah, that's
Wow. And that's a very short dream too, but also we can do that. We could probably do that one if you wanted to, or let's see if we can get around to it.
Me. I had that years ago, and I was like, I don't know why.
Well, just no. I have some thoughts on it. I mean, if I were to give you my in a nutshell, what I think that one might have been about is, there may have been, to your mind, some element of your relationship where you were the caretaking nurturer of this person.
I always.
You always have been.
Yeah. Still to this day, we talk. We're not together, but we talk. I have to do stuff for him. Yeah.
And then, I mean, that would be probably one reason you guys are not still together, because it's like you're acting like a baby that I have to breastfeed. You're not acting like a man who's my husband or equal partner or the caretaker of the family. That would be my take on that dream. And it's like pretty direct analogy. I mean, if that makes sense to you, if that feels right, that's kind of what popped into my head.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Well, you can kind of maybe in a way put that one to rest now that you've got a little bit of direction on it. Now, I don't usually try to shortcut dreams like that. Usually we would talk about it much more, but I just wanted to give you something so that you could, now you can continue to think about going, okay, well, what does that really mean to me? And how would I want to change that if I could? Is there anything I could do? Man, maybe you've tried everything you can think of and it's out of your hands. That happens too. But back to the dream we actually are discussing here. So you're in a house and it stands out, to you that the room you initially appear in is got blue wallpaper and stairs. Does this house remind you of any houses from your life, or?
It does give me deja vu, but I can't think of what.
So you're in basically like a living room type of situation?
Yeah. Where you can see the garage door.
You're in a living room where you can see the garage door.
Yeah, and the stairs and the wall.
So when you say you can see the garage door, is it like you can see the main garage door, or you can see
not that kind of
the door,
like the door handle that you go outside
that leads into the garage?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Fair enough. The house garage separation versus the garage outdoors separation.
Yeah. And I used to have a garage door like that, one out in my house, so where you could just walk out like that too. Yeah.
So there's going to be something about choosing this as the starting point for the dream that says something about how you're conceptualizing the question you're trying to address by the dream itself. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like well, maybe I don't need to explain that anymore. That's kind of my beginning thoughts. Like, okay, where's this starting? Why does the question need to be phrased in this? So, like, why inside a house and not in the woods? Why not on an iceberg? Why not on the deck of the Titanic? Why not at the top of the Empire State's Building? Why not on an airplane? I mean, there's something about you're in a house. So there's a lot of different ways to understand the concept of a house. A lot of people in the past have said it very often relates to our internal life. We think of our body as a house containing different parts of ourselves in different rooms. That's one. Or our mind. We conceptualize our mind that way. Houses, especially living rooms, kitchens, bedrooms, those kind of things, they relate to issues of family and our living situation, who we live with and how we live our lives. So a lot of different layers to pull apart on that. But you said when you thought of this garage door, when I was asking you for clarification, you said I actually had a garage door like that once upon a time. Mm-hmm. Where and when did you have a garage door like that? When? When
I was 16 at my mom's house, Lebanon. We lived on Lebanon. I mean, yeah. Oh yeah.
That might be, when you think of that house, the living room in that house, did it have stairs? Did it have blue wallpaper? Or those?
I've never been in a house that had stairs.
Okay.
But now I think about it, there was a house we were supposed to move into that we didn't. We ended up homeless that had stairs.
Okay. And this is when you were younger? You were going to move into a house with your parents?
Yeah, we were going to move into it and then with my mom. So my mom left my dad. and then something happened. We couldn't move into there, so we ended up in the shelter.
And what comes to mind when you think of the blue wallpaper? What's the color blue?
That's the same color the apartment was, and we were just moving to that apartment.
Say again.
The apartment, it was actually an apartment with the stairs that we were supposed to move into. That's the same color that the apartment was. It was the same color as that.
Okay.
But that blue, I don't know. I don't know. My dad had a car that was the same color that blue. I can't really think. I don't really have very much. It's kind of like the sad gray blue.
Okay. Well, just looking at the visual representations in the immediate environment of this opening section of the dream, like where is this taking place? Why here? So we've got the representation of the garage door of the house that you lived in when you were 16 before your parents split up, and you have stairs and blue color that reminds you of this apartment that you were going to get into, but that you didn't. A new living space that was tantalizing.
Oh, and now that I think about it, it reminds me of this house that we lived in, the same color. My dad painted it blue, the same color. Now I think about it, it's one of my dad's favorite colors. He paints everything this color. It was the worst, one of the worst times of my life was when I was younger, was in this house. That was the color of that wall.
Wow. So we're definitely looking at a period. So the dream is like, okay, imagine you're considering a particular kind of problem as if you're back in this insecure point in your life where everything kind of collapsed and fell apart. You've got all these visual markers saying, visual landmarks telling you where you are. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, I mean, unsurprising that outside the home would be a threat. And that threat would be like the thing, which could take on any shape. And that was the primary danger of that thing, was not that it would necessarily eat you. Of course, that's the consequence of being fooled, but that it would fool you, that it would look like a person, that it would look like a dog, that it could literally be anything or anywhere, and you wouldn't know it until it was too late. That was the horrifying thing. It's that idea of being, you're never safe. Yeah. Kind of represents
it's one of my favorite scary movies.
For sure. Yeah.
And I've played the games now.
Yeah, and that might be sometimes why we are attracted to particular kinds of scary movies, because they speak to our unique personal fears about our lives based on what we've been through. Yeah, that's a theory I've been working on too. Maybe other people have thought of it, and I don't work on it that much, but I've thought of that connection before. Why do some people prefer slasher films? Some people prefer movies about monsters, and some people prefer ghost stories. Why have, even in the horror genre, there are favorite types, tropes.
There is, yeah, that's true, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So anyway, I've thought of that before. It's brought it back to my mind. So, and then you are with people. So you've got this broader theme of being, well, what if we try to nail it down a little bit? What is the theme we're dealing with here? It's insecurity of home life. How would you describe everything we've talked about so far, all these different cues? The words are popping into my head, like insecurity of home life, instability of having needs met, or instability of unstable relationships. All of these things kind of seem to be expressed. I don't know what feels right to you. Or if other words, descriptive words, come to your mind.
Well, I've lost my income. I have no income, and my mom's taking care of everything. She's been kind of mad about it. So that counts.
Yeah. Did this dream come around that time when you lost your income?
Yeah.
What was the word I'm looking for? It's when something is concurrent in time. To dream temporal to lost income. Yeah, that's a big deal. So that might be, I mean, and this is exactly how we do it. We start talking about the symbols, and I start throwing words out, and I start trying to say, okay, what's happening, but then what kind of thing is happening? Like what happens is the physical action. This happens, that happens. I see this, I do that. But what type of behaviors are those? It's like walking, driving, bicycling, all forms of transportation or ambulation or movement. And then we start going up layers of like, what is this thing we're looking at here? What do these symbols represent from that level? And then we bring us around to, wow, I think this dream happened at about the same time when I lost a source of income, and that threw my mind into the framework of saying, I've been through this before. I remember what it was like to be insecure in my living situation, in my relationships, specifically in the house. Where am I going to stay? How am I going to get my physical needs met? Food, shelter, all that kind of stuff. So the dream's kind of starting you off from that point saying, okay, now what? Now what do we do? Or what do you think is going to happen? It's kind of the next, how it plays out in the thought experiment or in the exploration of possibilities in your mind. You were there with a friend of yours, and you specifically remember her as this specific friend from earlier in your life?
Yeah.
This is where we get on to second page. I already filled up the first page. All right. Just really big chicken scratch.
Now that I'm older, I don't think she ever really was a friend. She put me in a lot of bad situations. She never really was there for me. I don't know why I kept her around.
When you think of not really being a friend, I mean, what does it mean to put you in bad situations? I mean, she was untrustworthy, dishonest.
Like she picked boys over me. She'll leave me downtown. I'd have to walk all the way home. She would, if someone was picking on me or put me down, she would be on their side. She used to yank me around and put bruises on my arms, drag me around the middle school, everywhere. She blamed me for everything. Her parents exorcised her, said she had demons inside of her, that I'm the reason for the demons inside of her.
Wow.
And she blamed me for, and she did bad stuff. I never did anything that she did. So I don't know where it was even coming from, but yeah.
Wow, that's crazy shit. Yeah. So the first thing I started writing down was, betrayal. That's betrayal. Someone who's not a good friend is basically a betrayer. They're, when people are picking on you, they're supposed to take your side. When it comes between you and a boy, they don't ditch you and treat you like you don't matter. This was not, and it's very good that you would say, now that I think about it, this person wasn't a very good friend. They weren't. Definitely. They were not.
She married the dude that did stuff to me, too. So that's how bad a friend she was.
She married a dude who had hurt you?
Yes.
Wow. Betrayal. Big time. So you've got a representation first of insecure circumstances, threatening circumstances in the very beginning, and that relates to the danger outside. And you've got the concept that you're with a person who's no help at all, who is not.
Yeah.
They're not gonna take care of you. You're not in this together. They're actually a liability in some ways, because they won't aim for mutual benefit. They will definitely sacrifice. They will betray you. They will definitely sacrifice you for their own needs, or their own emotional or selfish satisfaction, whatever that is.
And she would lie and say she wasn't like that, but she was.
Yeah, and that's something they do as well. They care. It sounds like a pretty without meeting the person and knowing more, but it sounds like a pretty typical narcissistic behavior. They lie because they want to have a public image as a good person, because that gets them more approval, that feeds their self-image of being always right, or, things like that. And, but then when it comes down to it, they will betray you in a heartbeat for their own selfish needs. They'll abuse you and be mean to you. And,
she was like that. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And then and then it's all your fault if, even if nothing else, well, even if you get them down to the brass tacks where it's like, hey, what you did hurt me. And it's like, well, you let it happen because you hung around me. So still not my fault. I was like, are you fucking kidding me, bitch? But that's how they are. Interesting. And so this friend, we're putting that in quotation marks, acquaintance from earlier in your life, you haven't spent time with them or spoken to them in at least 5 or 7 years, roughly?
Yeah, it's been a while, yeah.
And that's probably good for you, because it's good on 2 levels. It's good because, number one, the active abuse and betrayal stopped because they're not in your life anymore. It's also doubly good because now you can look back on that and say, I know I'm better off without that. You're not still clinging to the desire to rekindle that relationship. You're able to look back and say, that's not right. I didn't deserve that.
Oh, I'm lying. I just remembered. I forgot. During COVID, when the lockdowns, and I had no way home, I was at my kids' dad's place trying to get help with something, and it was locked down. There was no buses for me to get home. I forgot that somehow I got a hold of her. She was the one that gave me a ride home. And I realized that she was only giving me a ride home so she could know so she could hear if my life was bad or something. I could tell she just wanted to hear the drama of my life.
Gotcha. Well, I don't consider that lying. I mean, you just remembered. Oh yeah, so it's not like you gave me false information. That's why I asked for clarification. Is like, but still, sometimes we get these moments of. Shit, I got no one else to rely on. Do I really want to call this person? Fine, I'll give it a try. And that doesn't mean you're trying to rekindle the relationship. It's like, you know what? If this person will help me, I'll take it. And number one, I don't owe them anything for this because they've been so shitty to me.
I asked for a ride on Facebook, and she reached out to me and said she'd give me a ride. I think that's
nice. But then you realized it wasn't trying to be kind, that she was actually, now she wanted to grill you to say, so she could lord it over you. See how much worse your life is than mine, huh?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
So you got nothing to feel bad about. Use her for a ride and then never call her again. Screw her.
Yeah.
But you're showing yourself this in the dream. So I'm trying to put the dream manifestation of this person into the context of how your relationship with them played out and what it is now. So you're bringing back into this reminder. Not only do you have a reminder of all the insecurity you went through at a particular time in your life, but now you're bringing in a person that was also your friend during that time, or an acquaintance. I mean, she knew you during those years when you were, or met you soon after.
When I was homeless?
She
knew me through all of it.
She knew you through all of it. Okay. Gotcha.
All my life. Yeah.
Yeah.
She was always around.
So that makes sense on 2 levels. One level is she was a part of that to begin with. So as part of someone who was close to you at that time, however dysfunctional the relationship with her might have been, however mutually one-sided, however mutual it was not. So you're bringing in these different elements to say, what if I was back in the same shitstorm I've already been through in some ways? And she always had a dog, or at least even up until recently.
Yeah, when we were older, yeah.
Older, yeah.
Yeah.
Then she had a dog and she had no kids, but she had a dog she treated like a kid.
Yeah, because she couldn't have any. They gave her the depot when she was 12 to try to get her period start, and it ended up not helping. It made her
ended up sterilize her, huh? Wow.
Mm-hmm. So she, she always treated her dogs like they were babies.
And would you say, if you had to think about it, forced choice, she treated the dog better than her friends?
Yeah, anybody, yeah.
Let's see, so more care or loyalty to the animal than friends.
Yeah.
Which I get it. Just to, what am I trying to say? I probably care more about the animals in my life than I do about most people I've met because
I understand that.
you
Yeah.
know, but then again, that's an understandable thing because of the way I live, and it isn't. I'm not trying to draw a parallel between me and her. I'm trying to understand maybe that mindset of like that dog probably, you know, was with her all the time, slept in her bed, you know, they had an emotional connection. The dog was a completely dependent creature she had full control over. Of course she loved it in that regard. You know, it would fit her psychology in that sense.
She also probably felt like animals were better to her. I mean, her mom chose her abuse. Her mom and dad chose her abusive. The man she ended up marrying, the one that did stuff, they chose him over her when she caught him with a man in bed.
Wow.
And she would divorce him. They chose his side over her side.
Yeah.
And that's how they always, her family always was. They would always, she was always like the scapegoat, odd one out. She was always something bad.
No, I think you also had the terminology right there, scapegoat too. It's like in terms of, there are very often in dysfunctional families a particular person that gets just blamed for everything and everyone in that dynamic learns to cope by dumping those problems on that person and participates in the delusion. Nothing's ever always one person's fault. You know, and this is important too, sometimes to say that, well, we can be understanding and compassionate towards damaged people without excusing their own dysfunctional behaviors. So we can have compassion saying, man, she had a tough life too. She got shit on and then she turned around and did it to other people. And that's the part that's not okay. Maybe she didn't know any better and maybe she couldn't stop herself, and maybe she was born with a personality disorder, and maybe it was inflicted upon her by abuse in the family. All of this is probably true, but at the end of the day, sometimes you, as the person who is also then being abused by her, has to say, I don't want to live like this anymore. I'm done. I'm not doing this. I'm not interested in being your whipping boy or, you know, emotional crutch or, you know, I'm not here to make you feel better. Yeah. If you can't treat me better, I'm done. And it's sad, but I'm going to do that for me. I'm going to set that boundary. So that is good. I mean, you eventually did move on. You said, you know, I don't want this. I don't need this relationship bad enough to put up with that. I deserve better. I'd rather be alone with myself and not getting shit on.
I kind of cut her off because my ex isolated me, so I can't ever be off. I probably would have still had her in my life if I didn't have my ex.
So part of freeing yourself from that toxic relationship was getting out of another toxic relationship.
Yeah.
Oh, that's very good. Yeah. That's fantastic. I mean, what is it? Like, nobody makes a change until whatever they're doing isn't working anymore. And sometimes people live their whole life believing certain bad situations are the best they can do, or they just can't see a way out. But you know, like, as I was saying, say again.
I used to be like that. My ex, I just didn't think I just felt like maybe I deserved it to be alone. Yeah, and be with him. Being with him was very lonely. So. Yeah,
that too. It's hard because how do you really know you're going to be better off? What if you're not? And that'll keep a lot of people trapped in bad situations. They can't see that accepting the risks or realities of the change is actually going to be better than what they're in. So until change looks more appealing, until they're ready for it and they've decided that this is what's better, no one changes anything. Yeah. So you've got a lot of these markers. You brought this person back, but you also, you know, I do what I call counterfactuals. Like, let's say this person wasn't in the dream, but a different person was there. We would be looking at, you would be following a different train of thought. Like, if the little girl and this fair weather friend was not in the dream, it would be more about you. But because they're there, you're incorporating elements of your relationship with other people. I think there's something about that is, you know, you could have been very much alone in this circumstance and trying to decide what to do. But instead you're like, okay, let's imagine I'm dealing with the same old insecurity, and around me are some of the same old people that were making the situation worse, that were not helping me deal with the problems that I had. They were another kind of problem that was close to me. Is that feeling
that makes sense.
Right? Okay. And you said there's actually this little black girl was in this dream, but also in other dreams. Said she's been.
Yeah, she's like been in every dream lately. I don't know why.
Well, she means something. She's an icon that you've decided represents something that.
I'm always taking care of her in every dream.
Yeah.
I gotta protect her.
Well, say a little bit more about her. How old is she? Size, shape, features.
Maybe 5. Maybe, and pigtails. She kind of looks like a little girl I had when I worked at the Head Start. Purple shirt. Yeah, I just want to remember her little face and her pigtails.
When she shows up in other dreams, she's always the same age, pigtails, purple shirt, that kind of thing? Okay. And then the first thing that came to your mind is like, now that I think of it, she reminds me of a little girl that you actually did work with in real life at Head Start.
Yeah, Head Start, yeah.
Now, was this, when you say worked with, I mean, were you...
I was working to be a teacher at Head Start. So I was a teacher's assistant.
Okay. Well, I think we might have nailed down what she is connected to. So there's a lot going on with that. You've got the actual child, which I don't know that it's about her as much as her connection to your work in that context is trying to, so the nature of the relationship, it could have been, I was bringing my child to Head Start and this girl's mother brought her to Head Start and that's where I saw her. But actually, so this isn't about you meeting her in the context of participating in the services, but more as the service provider, so you're looking at this like, or what's going on in your head is bringing back a memory of your potential in life, a potential path that maybe you haven't fulfilled. What happened around that, that you gave up or abandoned or left trying to be a TA or trying to be a teacher?
I got sick and, I have this issue with I block out a lot of stuff if it's bad, but I don't really remember. I know that I was with my ex. I know I got fired from my bus job, working on the school bus. Oh no, I remember now. I was working. I chose this working on the school bus over working at the Head Start, and I regret doing that. Because the school bus, it ended up being a mistake. Working on the school bus.
Okay. So, missed opportunities, mistaken paths chosen.
I think the job working at the Head Start would have been a better fit for me than working on the school bus.
What was it that made you feel like you needed to choose the bus over the TA position?
The lady who wanted me to get the woman who trained me, and she really was pushing me towards working on the school bus and everything. And then after I got the job, she kind of just put a bit. There's a woman that really pushed me for that, working on the school bus, because my grandma used to. My grandma passed away. That she used to be a bus driver.
Did this woman give you a reason why she felt being a bus driver was going to be a better, or working on the school bus?
Well, not a bus driver. I've never learned how to drive it. It was just an assistant on the bus. And she thought that it would be a good job for me because my grandma's a bus driver.
Huh. So, okay. So we've got a situation where it feels like to me you allowed someone else to guide your path rather than standing firm and pushing back and saying, I don't really want to do that. I want to do the teacher thing. Like that's what you actually wanted, but you let someone else kind of convince you otherwise. Yeah.
She was like that. I either get older women either like try to either hate me or they try to get me to do what like things like they would like take me under their wing, but they're always aggressive.
Yeah,
That's
and
what,
this is in real life. This is your kind of experience with women broadly.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Fair enough. Yeah.
I actually don't talk to any women online. Except for one, but not really. So I don't know why. Women don't really like me online. So how about that?
Well, how did you describe that? Some of them kind of aggressively take you under their wing, or they hate you, or you don't get along with them.
Yeah, they'll just like automatically be rude and demanding. Yeah, I worked with one that was very demanding. Yeah.
And the way I'm trying to distill it down to words, so it seems like your history with women, broadly speaking, and you've just from what you've described it, and maybe not all women are like that, and all the caveats, but it seems to have broken down in your life to having women that are either aggressive towards you, like hostile, or controlling. Even that controlling nature is taking you under their wings, but like in a manner that suits their needs rather than looking out for what you need.
They know what's best for me.
Yeah, that's why I look at controlling. And it isn't just, and even if it's because there's a very compassionate, sympathetic variety of controlling. Like, oh, trust me, this is for your own good. You need to do it this way. That's still pressuring you as a manner of control. So all of this coming from talking about the little girl with pigtails from the Head Start. And she's there with you in the dream. So you've got the representation of an environment that evokes a time in your life where you were very insecure with your physical needs. You've got people that represent bad friends, fair weather friends, manipulative betrayal. You've got a representation of the little girl which is your struggles with, finding your own path towards maximizing your potential.
I also felt like I abandoned her too, because when I left that job, she would stand at the mailboxes, and sometimes she'd see me, and she'd look really sad. So.
Yeah.
So,
well, you've probably felt abandoned in your life too. I mean, you've probably dealt with that emotion. Yeah. So it's going to hit you extra hard when you're like, oh no, did I just do that to someone else? And then you probably feel guilty about it, regrets. Regarding that. So it's a double whammy on that one. It's not only did I fail to fight for what I wanted, and I let someone talk me. Go ahead.
Well, the thing with the thing was that it was really hard working at this Head Start. It's a Head Start to my apartments, and CPS. I work for CPS. Told me that most of his cases are in my apartments. A lot of kids are being abused, and with all like the peer counseling training and the stuff I studied, I could automatically tell which children were being abused, and it was hard.
Yeah.
So that's the other reason why I chose the bus. Because what do? You can't say, "Oh, my gut says that this child is being abused." Yeah. Yeah. And then they would attach. And one little girl, I could tell her mom, was being abusive and the stuff she was saying. But what do you say? It's not physical abuse. It's basically mental. And
that is really hard. And you're also dealing with people that if they knew what they were doing was wrong, and if they cared, they would fix it. And bringing it to their attention and saying, hey, I think you're making a mistake. They're going to go, the fuck are you? Get away from me. That you're not dealing with a willing clientele. Mm-hmm. This person's not coming to you going, I think I'm having problems being a good parent. Can you help me? That's one kind of, that's a collaborative type. I don't know how to deal with those type of people either. People that don't want help, but they need it. And for the sake of their kids, perhaps, in a situation where it's like, how do you convince someone they need to change when they think nothing's wrong, but you see something is definitely wrong? It's, that's very tough. It's very tough. Well, okay. So that's another layer. So you allowed yourself to be convinced because you weren't really sure you could successfully
I could handle work with the little,
handle that. Yeah.
There was a lot of, like, one mom would come and her daughter was very overweight, really, really overweight. Mm. And she could tell her mom was on heroin.
Oh, yeah.
And like, I'm not the teacher too, so I can't. But I could tell. And she.
Did you have a relationship with the teacher that you could say
It was
afterwards
no, no.
privately go to them and
No,
say,
see,
I'm worried
I
about
can
this
tell
kid?
what women are gonna like me, and I can tell what women aren't. And this one, teacher, because I actually got the job through older woman who was trying to get me, who was helping me with everything. She said she actually kind of offended me a little bit because she said I reminded her of her bipolar daughter,
Ah,
and she wanted to help me get a job. And I don't have bipolar or anything, and
yeah,
I don't have and everything. So it kind of made me a little upset. But she got me the job with her, and the woman, I could just tell that wouldn't really want to have a talk with me at all. Like,
okay.
women are very competitive.
Fair enough.
So I could tell the ones that compete with me and not gonna.
Yeah.
So I just did my job. Yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah, and I'm not trying to second guess you, but and that actually answers my question too. Is like that's another reason why you would have gone. This just isn't going to work. And then let someone say convince you to take a different path because it actually maybe sounds like good advice in some ways, at least to you at the time. And yeah. I'm not saying certainly I'm not saying you did anything wrong in making those choices. And it's very hard too. But sometimes we don't believe in ourselves enough to push through discouragement to say, no, I think I can. I'm going to find a way. This is worth the struggle. I'm going to stick it out. You looked at the totality of the circumstances and said, maybe I'll go another way. But then you also are having a very realistic appraisal of what you sacrificed, what you left behind. What was the good part of what you were able to do that you had to give up because you felt like you couldn't do the rest of it successful. You couldn't tolerate the daily struggle of misery you'd have to encounter just to do what little good you could do. So that all of this coming from just that one image, why is this one little girl there? And it opens this whole can of worms of your self-image and your struggles with providing your own financial security through successful, self-actualization in a job you feel like you can do and do successfully and all of that stuff. So, and all of this, we haven't even gotten to the action, which is the garage door situation and the dog and the thing. Let's jump to that because now we kind of nailed down some of these little discrete elements. How do you become aware that there is the situation happening outside? How does that kind of play out? Is that all immediate?
The part of the movie where the dogs are being devoured.
Oh yeah.
The noises of that.
So you're
I could hear it.
hearing the sound of dogs in pain and coming from the other side of the garage door.
Yeah.
And how did is that when your fair weather friend spoke up and
she was like, yeah, I gotta go get her, I gotta get her. Yeah, you don't understand, she's not, I gotta go get her. And then she yanked on my arm, I gotta go get her.
She was yanking on your arm?
Mm-hmm.
And she wanted you to come with her, or?
Mm-hmm.
So she knew it was her dog, and you also knew. There was no doubt.
Yeah, I knew it was her dog. Yeah, I don't have dogs.
Say again.
I've never had a dog, so yeah.
Well, it could have just been a random dog, but both of you knew.
Oh yeah.
Like she knew it was her dog, and you also knew. In a dream, like if you tell.
After she let the dog out, I remember her letting the dog out. That was it too. She let the dog out. I was like, "Why are you doing that?" She wanted to let the dog out. Dog outside.
At what part of the dream did she let the dog out? Before the sounds, or?
Right before the sounds, and I could hear it. And she said, "I think it's fine. Everything's really quiet." I forgot about that part. Yeah.
So, you were doubting that she should let the dog out because why? Because you knew the thing was out there?
I knew something was outside.
Okay. Okay, so I'd say that's significant. So you knew there was danger. You knew.
Yeah.
And this is also works with the setting. So you've got the representation of an interior space that reminds you of a time when you were insecure, when you could lose the house, when being outside of the interior was dangerous, when there was literally danger outside. And was there a purpose she was trying to satisfy to let the dog out? Like, why did she want to let the dog out?
The dog wanted out. The dog wanted out. She wanted to let the dog get dog's way. Yeah.
And did you have any kind of visual representation of the dog wanting out? Like, was it scratching at the door, or was she holding it and she just knew it needed to go potty or something? Or was there any reason given?
I don't remember the dog at all. I just remember her saying she needed to let it out. The dog wanted out. And then I remember opening it as before. And then let the dog out there. And then I was like, that's stupid. And then that's when I remember her saying, I gotta go get my dog back.
Okay, and then that actually comes back around. Here we go on page 3. You thought this was a short dream, huh? There's always more. Well, we're unpacking all the details that are inside of it. So you've got a situation where, and the way you expressed it, and I think it's fantastic phrasing, is she wanted to let the dog have the dog's way. It's like she was catering to the dog's needs in a way that was contrary to, look, I'm a human. I should know more than a dog. I'm telling you, it's not safe outside, but she's defaulting to giving the dog what it needs or wants versus listening to you, which would actually, it would validate you as a source of true information, like someone whose opinion she should respect. You know something she doesn't, but she's being impulsive and maybe not impulsive, but like she's foolish, saying, I know better.
My value of life, I felt like my value of life was better. It could be because right before that, I've been like, I watched this video on, well, not right before, but a while ago. I watched this video on nihilism, and he said that there was a study out there where it was, do you choose a random baby to live or your pet? And he said a lot of people chose their pet. I remember the study, and a lot of people did not choose their pet, but that was back when I was younger. Sure. Nowadays, people choose their pet over a random baby, and that seems wrong to me. I don't like that. I don't like that people are choosing animals' value of life over humans. I'm wondering if that has anything to it, because that bothers me. I even talked about it on Twitter.
Sure, it is disturbing. And I hate these forced choice scenarios because they are true. They are indicative of real life. I mean, if I had to choose between feeding my pets or feeding a homeless guy, I'm buying the cat food. Sorry, buddy. Yeah, but when it comes down to it's even more stark when it's like you can only save one, your dog or someone else's human baby. I think
the baby has a life. I choose the baby because the baby has
a soul versus an animal. Yeah.
I think the homeless man thing. I don't know. See, depends on the homeless man. It's true. I work with the homeless.
Well, sure.
Some that were just
and nothing against him. Not that he's unworthy of help, but if I have to choose, these are my babies. I love them, and I think this is what I'm saying. I'm not trying to defend the nihilistic approach of most people picking their animals. I can tell you why I would. It would probably be emotionally, I couldn't handle it. I couldn't handle knowing I let my own beloved, the animal that's been closest to me, I'm just going to throw them away like that for someone's kid. I don't know, even if it is human. I don't know. I think I would not have a good logical reason for it, but I think I might act impulsively, emotionally to save the animal. Just before, I would just commit and take the action, and I wouldn't think twice. I can't say
maybe it's because I don't have any animals. I have a cat. It's my mom's cat.
Sure.
Maybe it's because I don't have any animals.
And you're not really attached to it that much. It's her cat. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Fair enough. Yeah. And I'm not saying there's actually a right answer. And I think you're perfectly valid to have your own feelings about it. That doesn't make, If you say that doesn't make rational sense, you're damn right. It makes absolutely no rational sense. A human life over animal life, absolutely, every time, and twice on Sundays. I'm just being honest, in terms of what I would actually do.
You called yourself a dog pet dad, and I guess shit drives me
Well,
crazy.
no, there's a lot of people who say my fur babies. I say it with tongue in cheek. They're not actually my children. They're my responsibility, and I love them, and and they're cute and fluffy, and I hate it when they're in pain or, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But it's not the same as an actual human child. There's no
And people are just kind of crazy with their animals.
Which is funny because, you give me two separate polls. Like, is it appropriate for humans to refer to their pets as babies as if it were equivalent to a human child? No, absolutely not. Would I save my own pet over a human child? Yes, probably. Okay, both of these things exist in my head at the same time. I know it doesn't make any sense. Anyway, so we've got a possible context there as well with this dilemma of the humans and the dogs, and that may also be another reason for the little girl to be there, is that you've got this dichotomy of the caretaking of she's got her little dog to take care of, and you've got a real human girl, and there's danger outside the house, and this woman wants to cater to the needs of her animal by letting it outside, which is going to put the dog in danger, but it's also going to put you guys in danger. Like, she tries to drag you outside to help her save the dog, and you're like, I got this little girl. I got me. I'm not going to sacrifice myself for something foolish like that. I'm not willing to give my life to that cause, especially since I'm certain I can't defeat this thing. It's the thing. It's going to kill me and you and her and the dog. We're all dead. That was the reality of the situation.
You care about the dog's life more than this little girl. That I get that's not your little girl, but yeah,
for sure. So the way
people are like that, though. People would care more about their dog.
And you told me earlier before the recording started that, your dog's pooping in the background. I'm like, he just does sometimes. I mean, I'm in my garage, so these are like $20 carpets, the little thin ones from, and every so often I throw them away and get new ones. So it's not, it's not that big a deal in terms of, and then I just go clean up his poop. But all of this, so the carpet here, and then down here this is just a painted concrete floor. So it's easy, like, just take a mop to it. Not that big a deal. He's a small dog, tiny poops, so it doesn't bother me that much. But thanks for the heads up. You had no way of knowing. Like, oh no, oh shit, literally.
So,
we're coming back from a break. You got a completely different shirt on. It's like two separate.
Yeah, I know. Because I was wearing my dress.
That's okay.
I would walk around with, but now I'm having jeans on and my shirt, my hair up, so I'm ready.
All right.
I eat and then run. Yeah. Because I told this lady a long time ago not a long time ago, like 4 or 5 days ago, I'd mailed off her package. I don't like being a liar.
Gotta get on it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm doing a thing real quick here. I was trying to make use of the time. Got back a little before you. Not much. I'm just posting stuff and setting up the live stream for later. Okay, so that's good. I'm going to make a note of the time here. It is now 1:29-ish.
Is it one? What time is it?
No. 1 hour and 29 minutes into the recording.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is my
I am gonna do a little bit of editing. Cut out the break, Yeah. So where were we at? We're back here. We were talking about the lady and the dog and what that all meant. So, I gotta get my head back in the space. So we've got the representation of these circumstances of an image from your past, iconic of impending catastrophe, and the representation of that catastrophe is external in the form of The Thing, one of your favorite movies, but also because it's a uniquely scary type of beast that can take any shape. So it's kind of like the great unknown, the quote unquote unknown threat external to the safety of the home. That which you will be exposed to if you lose the the four walls that keep danger at bay, that kind of thing. And you've got this, the representation of a situation where you've got a child that you wish to caretake and see no harm come to. And this person is foolishly yielding to the desire to cater to a silly animal. Like, it doesn't matter if the dog wants to go outside if there's danger. If there's danger, like when my dog, we get raccoons in the backyard sometimes, and he will chase them and he will attack them and they will decapitate him. I mean, he's such a tiny little guy.
Raccoons are dangerous.
He's got 4 teeth left, and he thinks he's a 14-pound dog who thinks he's a 70-pound dog. He is not. And, he's actually chased a raccoon and scared it. But as soon as it took one swipe at him, he's shrieking, "Arr, arr, 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 arr," and I'm running around in the dark like, where the fuck are you? This happened years ago. So I get it. Like, so now when he scratches at the door for me to let him out and it's dark, no, you can just poop on the carpet. I'll take care of it. We're not letting you. I'm not letting you out in the dark to go get in a fight with a raccoon. That's not worth it. The dumb animal doesn't know any better. So we've got a woman who doesn't realize she's not making the sense. It's the type of person that doesn't have the common sense to say the dumb animal doesn't know better. You shouldn't allow it to be put into danger in a way that also puts us into danger. You're going to open the door to this thing. So she yields to that temptation. Or whatever it is that she's doing, and lets the dog out, and immediately consequences. You're like, what did you think was going to happen? Now, this was a bad idea, and now we're seeing, experiencing the consequences, and now she wants you to sacrifice yourself and the safety of this child to go help her save the dog. And if I recall what I wrote down. Well, I just wrote down, go get the dog. So she's dragging, she's grabbing your arm. She's kind of dragging you to the door. Mm-hmm. And what happens is that she's pulling you along with her to suffer these consequences. And you had a decision to make. I either put my foot down or I'm going to get hurt too. Or bad things are going to happen to me and this little girl. So she gets the door open. And what you do is you push her out and slam the door. It's like, fine, I'm going to let you suffer. I can't save you from your own bad consequences, but I'm not letting you take me down with you. Because
I knew she wanted me to be the one to actually go get her dog.
She wanted you. She wasn't even going to do it herself. She wanted you to sacrifice for her benefit.
I probably would have did it myself. I felt like I felt like I would have, because I'm always like the leader when it comes to certain things. Like, I knew I would have been one that I would have had to go out there and go get the dog. She got to shut up. Oh.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that's good. That's a good way to, and it doesn't matter how true any of that is. Let's say you're not accusing this specific person of wanting to do this specific thing to you in this circumstance. We're looking at the type of situation it is. It is a situation where this person wants you to fix their mistake. Wants you to be the one to sacrifice on their behalf, to their benefit, to your detriment. They want to use you to get what they want, and they don't care if it hurts you. So that's definitely what we're looking at in terms of a concept. And what you do is this dream could have ended very differently. It could have ended with, and so I go out there knowing I'm going to get hurt. I let this person use me as a tool for their own benefit, and I die. The monster gets me, and that's the end of the dream. No. You put your foot down and you said, you know what? I'm not going to let you get away with this. I'm not going to sacrifice myself. You made this mess. You go fix it. You want it that badly. Good luck. And I think that's maybe at a different time in your life, you would have had a very different chain of events. You might have gone out there in the past, but now you're showing yourself, I'm not that person anymore. I am not that person anymore. And the beauty of it is that this isn't a story you wrote out, thinking your way through and getting to this point in the drama to just say that about yourself. Because we have a lot of self concepts that are not true, but they make us feel good about ourselves. Like, I believe I'm this kind of person, and the belief that I am that kind of person is what makes me feel good. Just don't make me prove it, because it's not actually true, you know. But here it is in our dreams. We've got this thing where you're not exactly in control. Now, there's lucid dreaming, and fair point, but in the
I can lucid dream. So yeah,
but you didn't have that sense in this dream. This wasn't a lucid moment where you had a conscious thought, I'm not going to let this woman do this to me. This was a more, dreams, they say, are a little more honest than we, you know, you can't fool a dream the way we can fool ourselves with our conscious thoughts and our, you know, or we can live in denial, but dreams cut right through that bullshit. So this is actually this is actually a new truth about yourself that you're showing yourself in this dream, saying, I'm not that person anymore. I'm not going to let that happen to me again. And so what you do is, you know, like, good luck. And just to add an extra layer of protection, just in case the garage door isn't enough, you run to take the girl upstairs with you. To get as far away from to the attic, to get as far away from the problem as possible. So not only did you go up the stairs of the house, but you went up an additional layer into the attic, and probably one of those pull down ceiling ladders that then when you pull it up, there's no way to get up.
What? Sorry, I got distracted.
No. That's okay. How did you get into the attic?
I don't remember going into the attic. I don't remember.
You just remembered that you were there.
And I do remember seeing the hole in the ground. But I don't remember anything besides grabbing her and holding her by the window. I felt that it was over. So you remember grabbing her and holding her near a window and knowing that you were in the attic and that this was finally a safe place. And then no, I didn't feel safe. I knew it was over.
You knew it wasn't over.
It was over. I knew it was that. That's it. There's no point. I kind of like hugged her and I cried. I gave up.
Oh, okay. You knew it was over for you, not that the danger was over.
Yeah. Well, no, I knew like we're gonna die anyways.
Okay.
We're dead.
It's over, meaning we're dead. There's no way to escape the.
And what was the point of running upstairs?
Okay, fair enough. So that's an interesting conclusion. Felt lost. Yeah. But you took additional action. You didn't just huddle in the living room immediately on the other side of that door where you took additional action. You just got to the point where, like, let's see, not to the point. You still experience something after taking that action, which even this additional layer of protection isn't sufficient. We're still in danger.
It's gonna be accurate anyways.
That the thing is still coming for us. We're not even safe here, as far away as we can get from it, and still be inside the house. There's a couple of different ways to look, and one way is the way I've phrased it here is using the physical space as a representation of taking action, because it's logical. I mean, if you can't leave the house, you go to the furthest extreme away from the danger. The attic. Fair enough. But sometimes the attic can represent, as much as the basement can represent dark, hidden shadow, scary thoughts. It can represent the place we keep things that we don't want to have seen. A lot of personal and broader meaning that can go with the concept of basement. Why am I talking about the basement? Well, relate it to the attic and the ground floor is living spaces. I mean, the kitchen is often the heart of the home. That's where meals are and people come together to share good times, or cooking to be a nurturing behavior. The living room, very often it's the first room we enter through the front door. It's the room where we spend a lot of time in entertainments, where we entertain guests. Might be where there's a fireplace. The bedrooms, things, as you go through the different areas of the house, they become more intimate. I mean, if you're in a bathroom or a bedroom, these are things very close to you. This is not a public area as much as our living room is. The transition between public and super private, the bedroom, that kind of thing. The attic, sometimes it's related to the head, to higher thoughts, to if we're going on a up-down axis in terms of lower. Whoops, I lost you.
You did lose me. Oh my gosh.
I lost your camera. Yeah.
I know. I didn't know it was dying. I charged it all the way before.
Oh, can you plug it in?
Yeah, I got it. Here. Yeah.
That's okay.
I'm so sorry.
I
didn't know it was dying.
I would have assumed you would have
fast.
left it plugged in the whole time. Why not? But
no,
sometimes we
bad.
just don't think of those things. I mean, yeah,
I charged it all the way.
Hour and a half, 2 hour
weird,
video call. Yeah, it eats up the battery. So anyway, we're getting there. So the attic can mean a lot of different things. You know, in this context, I think I don't know that it's related to, you know, escaping into the mind. Sometimes people rationalize things or show an imagery of them rationalizing things by moving up to a higher thing. But okay, why did I go through all that counterfactual, which doesn't seem like it relates, just to show the difference between the two. This seemed to be more like when the danger is on the ground floor or outside, you move as high as you can to get away from the flood, so to speak. You got as far away as you can possibly get.
Every dream, I move up high. I go high. Every one of them, even my lucid ones, where I control, I go up high.
Interesting.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I went to a water tower when it's usually zombies, and I go to a water tower.
Gotcha. Yeah. That is an interesting thing. So this is actually a bit of a theme with you of escaping to a higher place. So there's something about that means something to you, specifically moving in that vertical direction as a solution to something you're dealing with. So, you know, another time or privately you can think about that description. Why am I always moving up to get away from these? But in this specific case, you had the experience that it still wasn't sufficient. The danger was too strong, that even moving to the highest point I could reach in this house didn't quite get me out of trouble in the way I wish it would have.
Yeah.
So we take all of these, and that's the end of the dream. So we've gone through the whole thing, and it seems like this is very much related to you having lost this job opportunity or income recently.
Probably.
Yeah, I mean that stands out to me as a likelihood. And you know, we go through these opportunities, or we lose opportunities, or we go through setbacks in life, and they trigger our brain to sort through past instances of having lost opportunities or lost employment, lost income, or lost security.
Yeah. Yeah, and I didn't get the job that I wanted to get because my sister used my name for crimes. So that was disappointing, and I had to figure out how to fix it.
Wow. So they did like a criminal background check, and it came up with her. You had used
I was
your name.
disqualified for moral reasons, and it said that it says theft, third degree, which I never did.
Wow. Have you been able to sort that out? I mean, don't you just call some people and say, "Hey, that's my sister, not me. Can we get this off?"
I have many times. And I even have a letter from a lawyer where I said, that wasn't me. And I fixed that one. But there's 6 of them.
Damn. So you have another situation in your life where someone has sacrificed you for their own personal gain. They've thrown you out to the thing to wreak ongoing havoc. And you're not out of the woods. You're not in a safe place. You know, you retreat all the way to the attic and these problems are following you.
Nah. I don't understand why. It's ruined. Like, there's no jobs that can take me with those.
Yeah.
That I want, you know.
Yeah. That seems like a big thing to resolve, whatever effort it takes. And I can imagine it's frustrating. You know, you've did one and there's like 6 more.
She used my name for like, she overdosed. Said it was me. She used my name still drug dealing.
Wow.
I got rid of that charge. I don't have anything like that. Because, like, I used to really want to be. But now, like, how can I do anything? I don't even know how to get rid of it.
Yeah, I'm not entirely certain how to do that either. It's got to be, I mean, just off the top of my head, it feels like there's got to be some way to contact this whole like criminal background check system and say, hey, you flagged this to say, you know, these things were not me. I can prove it. I mean, if we
they have an option. I have an affidavit. They have an affidavit where you can explain your crimes. of why you did it, which I think is really weird, you know. But I'm just gonna put down that it wasn't me, and then I have proof that I never lived in those places, and then my mom's just signed something. So I'm hoping that will help me get the job because I really need it.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, there's no surprise with what you're going through that this type of dream imagery would come to you, that you would be looking at like, there's all kinds of danger out there. And it you never know what form it's going to take. It's this hidden danger that can really take any shape. Like, fuck, another door slammed in my face, another opportunity denied, another freaking problem caused by, as represented by this woman in the dream, people who just betrayed me, people who set me up to fail, people who caused me problems, who threw me under the bus, who expected me to, or who used me to their own advantage. Yeah, no, for real. Very, what am I trying to say? Easy to understand how this imagery in this dream would play out in this fashion, how it's very much connected to your real life problems. I mean, a lot of dreams are that we don't take the time to understand. It's like they're almost always connected to something we're going through, good or bad. You know, Freud used to say, and well, he's dead now, so of course he used to say, every dream contains a secret wish, and understanding that properly, it isn't like they're all wish fulfillment, like, oh, I like a fantasy, like, oh, I want to fly, so I dream I fly. That's a very obvious thing. Yes, that's also true, but usually it's a wish or a fear. It's, I hope this good thing happens, I hope this bad thing doesn't happen, and we show ourselves different variations of that. You know, I hope I don't have a good thing withheld from me. I hope I don't have a bad thing inflicted upon me. Those are the kind of wishes he was often talking about. There's a completely separate category of dreams, which is sometimes just idle speculation, or what I call thought experiment dreams. It's like, well, I'm trying to understand an idea, so let me just explore the idea itself. But definitely it seems like your dream was in that category of, I'm going through some shit and I need to sort this out. I would really focus on the idea that this dream is showing you that your situation is not hopeless. Even if you feel like your efforts have not been... What, say again?
It feels hopeless.
At the very end, it did. At the very end, it did. You showed yourself not yet having overcome the problem because you haven't, because the problem is still there. So that's a more realistic appraisal of the situation. But what I was trying to say, focus on the positive side of the dream, which is that you're not out of the woods. You know, the problem isn't over yet, but you're showing that you are now a fundamentally different person, where you're not going to just take this passively. Now you're going to set some boundaries. You're going to fight back for what you think is the right thing to do. You're going to take care of yourself. You're not going to allow people to walk all over you. This could have been a very different dream where you, like I said, let yourself be used again and go, what did I expect? There's nothing I can do. That's why I say this dream is not meant to show you it is hopeless, you should give up. It's saying there is hope because you are different, because you have a greater faith in your own ability to make some kind of a positive change. And that is going to give you the necessary start to move in the direction of making that change. What I'm trying to explain is that someone who's hopeless doesn't make the effort because it's pointless. They believe it's pointless. You're not actually hopeless because you've showed yourself that you are a different person and that you can take action, and that action will have a result, even if it hasn't fully resolved the problem yet. Am I making sense about why those are different? Yeah, exactly. There's some dreams that are just very representative of, I am feeling hopeless and the situation is actually hopeless. And yours is more like, I'm feeling a serious threat that's a realistic threat, and I need to get out from under it. And, I think there's something I can do, even if I'm not sure if it's going to work. And sometimes you don't know if it's going to work until it works. And then you've actually got the proof. Hey, that worked. But you got to make the effort first. And I think you've got that. There's something inside of you that's saying you can do it, Nikki. There's an inner voice in there that's shouting at you to just keep. You know the right thing to do. You know where to take this. You know that the effort is not pointless, even if it sucks while it's happening. So it does. And there's I think some people they, what am I trying to say? They're kind of down on certain remedies offered because it doesn't make bad things stop hurting while you're in them. I think some people want the bad feeling to go away, and I'm like, no, it's going to suck until it doesn't suck anymore. It's going to hurt until the pain stops. And it's a process. But I mean, there's two choices. It sucks, and it's always going to suck because I don't move and I stay in the suck. Or it sucks until I get out, but at least there's a light at the end of the tunnel because I'm moving away from the bad thing. And I think that's what this dream was saying to you, is that, you know, you can be realistic about your feelings and about how unpleasant the situation is, but you're not helpless and the situation is not hopeless. That's what I think. Yeah. Anyway,
I hope so.
if that makes sense, to you, and I mean, you don't have to believe it. I had a post on Twitter. It's like, you know, sometimes the role of a therapist or whatever, someone engaged in a therapeutic interaction. Sometimes their job is to say, I understand you don't believe it, so I'm going to believe it for you until you can believe it. And that's where I'm at on this one here, is like, that's what I'm trying to do. So I hope it helps. Yeah. Well, thank you very much.
I like you, Ben. You're nice.
Well, I like you too. This is good. I enjoy having you in the chats and whatnot, and just, you know, hanging out. You say funny things. You make me laugh. So I like that.
I'm being sarcastic most of the time, just so you know. I know it's hard to come across sarcastic, but
right?
When I mean,
they've suggested the internet needs a sarcasm font so people can know.
I know they do.
I just tend to interpret things as however they can be positively interpreted, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
When it comes to not just dreams, sometimes dreams are, I don't want to bring that to something when it's not appropriate. I want to tell the truth. But when it comes to people's comments, I tend to assume there's a joke in there somewhere and they're being playful, even if they're not, because if they're not, the fuck do I care? I'll just go ahead and interpret it that way anyway.
I'm too sarcastic to everything. Like, and then that Dragon Man, Augustine, he got mad at me. He said I was being really mean to you.
Oh, yeah.
I think this spot.
I think some people don't get it. I'm really hard to insult, or I mean, you really have to try. You really have to.
I was like, he seems like he's taking it pretty well. I was like, that's just what we do.
Yeah, no, I don't mind that stuff at all. That's you're not bothering me for sure. Yeah. Okay, well, if you feel like we've talked about the dream, we've gotten as much out of it as we can, we'll go ahead and wrap it up.
I think we're good here.
Okay, I always like to give folks the opportunity to ask more questions if they're like, there's still something that bothers me, or I don't understand this part. Let's talk about it. That's fine.
I get it.
But
no, you helped. I get it. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I hope it gave you a
but am I a bad person for shoving her out the door? That's the only thing. I felt like such a bad person for shoving.
After you woke up, or in the dream?
After I woke up.
Ah, yeah, but not in the dream. And I'd say that's the important part. It would mean something different if you felt bad in the dream. We could talk about that too. But this was afterwards. You look back going, I think there's a part of you that doesn't want to hurt anyone. And that's good. We shouldn't want to hurt people, but we shouldn't fail to set boundaries that allow ourselves to be hurt by people who don't care whether they're hurting us. You know, and that's a hard thing. And that's actually why a lot of folks who have been through traumatic stuff and abuse and different things and don't feel that, they don't feel comfortable setting boundaries where other people are unhappy with them. So I would say lean into that idea of, what is it? It's not enough to say just set healthy boundaries. Sure, easier said than done. And what does that look like? And how do you do that? And how do I do it when it's extremely uncomfortable? And sometimes I'd rather just, take a little abuse and not cause a scene. We lean in that direction sometimes.
That's where I've always been like that.
It'll be a little bit of a process to break that bad habit. I mean, what you don't want to do is head so far in the other direction that you become callous to people that are good people. You don't want to then become the abuser. That's like it's going too far in one direction or the other. I mean, you don't want to be passive, and you don't want to be aggressive, and you don't want to be passive aggressive. You want to be assertive.
I have an issue with ghosting people. I drop people. I know I've hurt people.
Yeah. So So using your this circumstance in the dream as afterwards you second guessed what you showed yourself, which is, oh my God, I totally protected myself at someone else's expense, and I don't feel comfortable with that. And I think it's perfectly reasonable to feel uncomfortable about that, because that's still a deep part of you that needs to kind of be sorted properly. When is it okay to set a boundary? How do I do that with someone? How do I identify this is a person that is trying to hurt me for their own benefit, and I don't have to let them do that? It doesn't make me a bad person to tell them no. It doesn't make me a bad person because they're upset I didn't allow them to abuse me. And at a certain point, you'll get to the point where I've come to, which, because I used to be a bit of a people pleaser in the past, but I've come to a point now where I think it's funny when abusive people rage at me because I set a boundary. Now, and rather than being uncomfortable, now I think it's hilarious. I'm like, look at you, you're so cute. Just pinch your cheek. Shut the fuck up. I don't care. Yeah. I think you'll get there too someday.
I hope so. Or just not cut them off. That's what I do. Now I just cut them off.
You just cut them off. And sometimes that's the worst thing you can do to someone is, I'm done with you. You're out of my life. You don't have, you ain't got Ben to kick around anymore. I'm out of here. Because they lose everything you have to offer. All they had to do was just not be an abusive asshole, and they could have enjoyed so much of you, but they don't get to, because they fucked up, and that's not your fault, And then having that sense of having that firm sense of, I know I'm doing the right thing because XYZ, and if anyone crosses these boundaries, it's okay for me to set that limit. I think this dream is, and that element in the dream, I think you're wrestling with that question, and you showed yourself in a moment of crisis when the need is absolutely clear, you can do it. And then just expanding that window of clarity around when it is acceptable to yourself to set those boundaries up to and including shoving that bitch right out the door, because this is your problem, not mine. And I am not taking this bullet for you. I'm out. And that's okay. Yeah. Sometimes that's what you got to do. Yeah. So, okay, well, I'll go ahead and wrap it up here and let you go. You got to, you say
I'm
again?
Gonna eat. I'm hungry.
Yeah, me too. I need to go. I got things to take care of before I get the stream going here.
I got to mill my thing off.
Yeah, we'll see.
See you later. I might be able to make it to your stream if you're on till after.
Later, yeah.
Because I got to get there till 5:30, and then I'll be back home around 6. So,
we'll see how long the stream goes. I'm not sure. This is the, by the time anyone watches this, honestly, by the time anyone watches this, literally a month from now, this would have been the Friday night I was streaming the 20th episode of Disco Elysium, and I don't know how long it's going to last. It will be for sure the final episode. I'm going to wrap it up one way or another, so we'll see.
Oh, really?
We'll see if you can make it. Yeah, and then brand new game on Monday. So as I usually do. Well, by then this will be old news. So I'll go ahead and say it is, and you're the first one to know. Shh, don't tell anyone, because I'm gonna debut the new trailer at the end of the stream tonight, whenever that is.
Okay.
It is none of the games in my coming soon trailers. I've decided to jump the line with one. It is going to be a game that came out last year called Atomic Heart. I don't know if you remember that one. The one where it's like set in a kind of quasi post-apocalyptic robot utopia gone wrong in the Soviet Union.
The one had all the drama about it. Yeah.
There was drama about it? With the girls, like, were you sexualizing robots? Was that it? Or was there other drama?
There was other drama. I can't remember there was other drama with it.
I don't remember what it was either.
It's supposed to be like, I can't remember, but there was a lot of drama with it.
Well, maybe it's better you can't remember.
About the people who created the game.
Oh.
The people who created the game.
Okay. I was going to say maybe.
Like fascists.
Oh.
Like the left hated them.
Those crazy communists think everybody's a fascist. Fuck them. I don't know. That's all I got to say.
Not a fan. That's what they said about this game. And then it's like that don't buy it if you want to promote fascist.
Okay. What if I was, so what am I trying to say? So irrationally libertarian that I'm like, don't play Disco Elysium because there's no libertarian options. It doesn't present libertarianism well or at all. It deals with all these other political things, and it's. I'm like, I'm just playing a game, yo. I can look at the world.
Yeah, I think it's stupid.
I can look at the world through other people's perspectives. That's fine. You can tell me a story. What did they do? They did a series recently that was called The Americans, and it was a Soviet sleeper cell family that was gonna. And I'm like, we're looking at spies. I mean, imagine if I was so patriotic that like you can't even tell me a story about spies and what they went through in their experience, because I'm supposed to hate them and I shouldn't be able to see the world through their eyes.
Yeah, I don't even. Or I'm so feminist, I can't play as a man on games. You know.
Yeah, one of my favorite games recently. I really enjoyed playing. What is it called? For Horizon Zero Dawn, female lead character. I don't even. When I choose games to play, I look at the gameplay and the type of game, and I don't really care too much about who the main character is, or whether or not they're male or female. So it never really bothered
I had to
me.
play as a boy. I didn't feel right as playing as a chick. I usually like playing as a chick in most of my games, but Mass Effect felt more of a male role. It felt like it was for a man.
Commander Shepard needed to be a man. Yeah, I kind of went I went with the default. Like that was what showed up first, and it was a male, and I changed nothing in the hair, and I did no customization. I'm like, just let's go. It was a long series. I played all 3, 1, 2, and 3.
I did too. I loved them.
Back to back. It was good. It was a good series. Yeah, and then
except I did like number 3. Number 3 wasn't very good.
Yeah, so it didn't bother me that saying Horizon Zero Dawn that there was no option to play a male character. I didn't care. It was about Aloy. There she is. And then, I mean, without spoilers, there's a reason why it is a female character related to a lore or story reason based on who she is. So fair enough. That if that makes it, that's fantastic. But then there's a lot of games where if there is a character creator, one game I'll play male, the next game I'll make a female character, and then the next game play a male character. Whatever, doesn't bother me at all. Yeah,
I don't like this whole thing. You have to find yourself represented in the game or in anything.
Sometimes I'd rather not be represented, because tell me a story about someone's life that is so different from my own that I would have never thought or experienced any of these things on my own, because I don't come in contact with any of this stuff. So literally don't represent me. I already know me. Show me somebody else. I think that's better sometimes.
And I see myself every day. I don't want to see it.
Right?
But yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. I've had enough of me. I'd like to let's talk about somebody else.
Oh, well, one of the things the reason why this is the reason why a few of the YouTubers ever talk to me. I always say this. I've always said this. I don't watch TV just to watch ugly people. They used to have to look attractive and have to, work hard to be on your TV. And now they're all,
that's true.
Lizzo.
Yeah, I don't need to see fat bearded autists on everything.
I would outside if I want to see somebody ugly.
Right. Well, what I'd rather see is Chris Hemsworth or Robert Downey Jr. in the Marvel movies. I want to see something aspirational. I want to see the man who's stronger and tougher and more capable than I am. I want to see. I want to see that.
They have to work hard to look like that too.
They really do.
Like they're just.
Same with female characters. I want them to be, the more beautiful, the better. In terms of that regard, and the more unique skills a character has, the more interesting. Unless you're going for a different kind of story, which is look at how miserable this person is because they're just a complete failure, and then that can be like tragic or comedic. The Well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, The Whale. The Whale. Yeah. Oh, it was Brendan Fraser, I think.
Yeah.
Exactly.
His life. He's had a hard. He's like, his wife took him. He's had a hard life. You know that he was sexually assaulted.
Yeah. Oh, and he went from the biggest thing ever in the '90s to just disappearing. He's gone.
Yeah, because he's blacklisted because of someone I think sexually assaulted him or something.
Yeah.
But okay.
Anyway, we'll wrap it up now. Yeah, we'll talk more later on. We'll talk in the stream tonight.
Okay. You can message me anytime, Ben.
Absolutely, sounds good. Well, then I'll just say to our audience here once again, this has been our friend Jennifer, also known as Ms. Sparkles on the Twitters and indeed out of my neighbor in the Pacific Northwest here out of Washington State. For my part, would you kindly like, share, subscribe, tell your friends? Always need more viewers for the game streams, volunteer dreamers, etc. 17 currently available works of historical dream literature, the most recent, The Fabric of Dreams by Catherine Taylor Craig. All this and more available at BenjaminTheDreamWizard.com. Including downloadable audio-only MP3 versions of these very interviews. And head on over to BenjaminTheDreamWizard.locals.com, where you can become a member. It is attached to my Rumble account. It's free to join. You can give me money. You don't have to. Just stop in and say hi. So that's going to do it. And once again, Ms. Sparkles, thank you for sharing your dream with us.
Yeah, and Ben's the best. Everybody should love Ben.
Oh, it's a don't applaud. Just throw money. So, all right, yeah, and everybody out there, thank you for listening.